Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my draft analysis for Season 5 of the TBU, also known as the Battle Union. But you guys already know about that. We have returned for Season 5, which is amazing because at the start of last season we did not think that was going to be a thing, but Season 5 of the TBU is here, and I'm super excited to bring you guys my draft. If you guys have seen on Twitter, following either the TBU or myself, you may have already seen the draft, but I am going to go through what I picked and why I picked it. I am going to try and make this a little bit shorter than in seasons past, because at this point you guys kind of know what Pokemon do, and I don't need to go into like 5 minutes per Pokemon explaining what every single thing does and whatnot. So if you do have any questions about the TBU or anything like that, feel free to ask them. But yeah, last season we did not do super great. The draft that we had was kind of drafted without much planning, and the results kind of showed that it wasn't a super well put together team. But I am very confident in the team that I drafted this season, and I really think we have a chance to make some noise, and I am going to do that to the best of my ability. So the format or the draft system this season was slightly tweaked to just have tiers without having points. My draft actually follows all that. Instead of having a minimum of how many Pokemon you need to draft from each tier, there was a maximum of how many you could draft from each tier. And if you didn't get one from a higher tier, you could change that to one lower tier and things like that. But mine actually just followed. I have the maximum amount for each tier that I can get. So that's what I do with my draft. And then of course there was a viewer pick on Twitter that has already been voted on. But yeah, there are 12 Pokemon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Pokemon on the team, and I think two of them are on the bench. So there's only a bench of 2 this season instead of 3, and you can make unlimited bench switches, but only 1 per week, and we'll kind of go through that each week, because I will still probably be having team builder videos and whatnot, so I at least plan on it. So let's go ahead and talk about my team. And we actually got the first overall pick. This is the first time I've ever had the first overall pick, and I was super excited to have it because there's so many options that you could have, and you don't need to worry about getting sniped of anything right off the bat, and it makes it very easy to know what your first pick is going to be and then to make a good draft plan around it. So I didn't have to make a bunch of different draft plans depending on if I got sniped and whatnot. I had one solid pick, and then I can just build from there. So let's go ahead in the order that I did draft it. With the very first overall pick, we, as a TBU, all the coaches, we actually decided to let the one and only Mega Mawile be unbanned for this season. And the fact that I got first pick, like, Mega Mawile is most likely going first to anybody who had first pick, and the fact that I got first pick right after we unbanned it is amazing. I'm super happy to have Mega Mawile. It is one of my more favorite Mega Evolutions, I should say, and of course one of the best. I mean, base 105 attack with huge power, not to mention its 125 defense, as well as the Intimidate ability once it gets a switch in before it Mega Evolves. Solid defenses, Swords Dance and Psycho Punch that make up for the speed, a really good typing, and it's just so powerful. People are going to be prepping for this thing hardcore because they do not want to get swept by it, and I am really excited about that. There's also some interesting options with like Baton Pass and whatnot. It has very good move coverage, both physical and special. I don't think its special attack is really anything to, yeah, probably not going to be worrying about that too much, but still. You never know, and surprisingly it actually does get some recovery in like Pain Split, which I actually did not think about. But Mega Mawile is just a threat on so many different levels, so I'm really excited about having this on my team. I don't need to tell you too much about what this does, but this was the start of my team, and that can only mean a good thing. Obviously, this was my highest tier pick. It was S tier, and then A, B, C, D, E, and then there's just like a rest. Yeah, I think it was E, and then there was like a tier for just like that was saved for like the viewer picks. And I'll kind of explain how the Z moves work, how the Z move rules work, once I get to the mons that I picked to be Z move users. But we did draft and then decide what our Z move users were. But So basically all of my picks from here on out are done in pairs. I picked all of them in pairs of 2, so the order of them don't matter too much, but I am just going to talk about the order that I grabbed them in, and some of them were a little bit like I just grabbed them earlier just so it looks funnier. So the next pick that I got is actually Vaporeon, and it was basically between Vaporeon or Milotic. The reason I went with Vaporeon is because it was a tier lower while still having very similar defenses. I did some calcs comparing the damage that could be done to Milotic compared to the damage that can be done to Vaporeon, and it's actually very similar. Of course, Milotic can have like Flame Orb with the burn nerf this gen, as well as recover instead of having Wish Protect. But Vaporeon really got some things that I really wanted. This is another one that has Baton Pass. Not necessarily as effective for like passing stats, but it can be really good for momentum, and my team is really going to do well with having momentum. Like, I don't want to straight switch in Mega Mawile a lot. If I can get a clean switch into it, it's going to be that much more effective. And I have other offensive stuff on my team that are going to be much better off if I can get a clean switch into them. So as much switch initiative as I can get, the better. This also gave me Heal Bell, which I was lacking in my draft plan, and my life did not give me. So Heal Bell is going to be huge on Vaporeon, because I don't want things like Mega Mawile to be burned. So there's things like that that it's really helpful for. It has Haze, which is really nice. Now that's not something that Milotic doesn't do, but it is, you know, a good thing, as well as Roar. So both of these things are going to help with prevent like setup, or at least stop me from getting swept, assuming I don't let it get too out of hand. And Vaporeon actually can do some pretty interesting stuff because it has base 110 special attack, pretty interesting speed tier, definitely not out of Scarf range, a lot of HP. It's a very good Pokemon, and I've wanted to try it for a really long time, and I just never really was able to. Also, my eyes are definitely drawn to this Acid Armor. Definitely keep your eyes out for that. But besides that, that was a B tier. So at this point, I had one S and one B tier. It basically went, let's see, I think you could have 1S, 2A, 2B, 3C, 2D, 1E, or I think you could have another E. I'm not entirely sure how that worked. But yeah, it was something like that. I'm just kind of looking at my team. But yeah, either way, my team is legal, and that's all that really matters. So with my next pick that I decided to pair up with Vaporeon, I definitely wanted to make sure I got a good electric type. And there were some really good ones, and it basically came down to getting a Thundy for me. And I had decided which one I wanted, and then thankfully the other one got taken first. So I decided that I wanted Thundurus Incarnate. I really wasn't sure whether I wanted Thundy I or Thundy T, but I actually decided I wanted Thundy I because of the Prankster T-Wave. If I can T-Wave Mons, that's going to make it easier for some of my slower wall breakers to really wall break or maybe even sweep through a team. So that's really going to help, and that's the main reason why I wanted this over the Thundy T, which is good because Thundy T got taken a couple picks right before me. So I'm really glad I got this, but Thundurus also has some other things that it can do, bulk up shenanigans with Defiant. They don't necessarily have to be together, I don't know why I paired them together, but pretty interesting move pool, and knockoff, which is really nice, and Taunt, Prankster Taunt is also going to be really nice to hopefully help me deal a little bit better with hazards than I did last season, so we'll see exactly how that works. But this is my first Zmon. Basically what we did is, after the draft, you picked one Zmon that was between the tiers of S and B, and then your second Zmon had to be between the tiers of C and E, and they're both offensive moves only. So Thundy I is only going to have offensive Z moves that it has access to, as well as my other Z mover that we will get to when we get there. And then the viewer pick, which is a lower tier pick, is the one that's going to have unlimited Z-move access outside of like Omni Boost, I'm pretty sure. So that is how that works. So Thundy I is a Z-move user. I do have that option, but yeah, Thundy I, it's powerful. I mean, base 125 special attack, it also gives me good speed at 111. I don't usually tend to have fast teams, and this kind of affords me to have good speed as well as having access to things like Thunder Wave to help make other teams slower, which is going to help my team in general. So, after waiting like 20, how many picks are there? There's 11 other teams besides me, so 22 picks until I get to my next ones. And so my next little group of Pokemon, the first one was Serena. I wanted to make sure that I got myself a Rapid Spinner, and I feel like every time that I'm draft planning, the Rapid Spin options just look less and less appealing. There's not a lot of Rapid Spinners I like, and I actually had to change up my draft plan a little bit in order to get Serena, because there were some other grass types that I was thinking about getting. But I ended up getting Serena because I thought it was a pretty good Rapid Spinner. I also like that it's a mono grass type, which could potentially help me with like ground types and whatnot. As you can tell, I mean, base 98 defense, 72 HP, not bad, with access to synthesis, and I believe it gets both screens, so that is also something to keep an eye out for. I do like Drop Kick being able to lower my opponent's attack also. But besides that, it does have interesting options. Aromatherapy too, so that way Vaporeon isn't necessarily locked into Heal Bell per se. And trying to see, special attack really not that much, even though it does get some pretty decent coverage. But high jump kick is really awesome, assuming I can hit, as well as things like Play Rough. There's the Rapid Spin. And yeah, self-recovery, being able to U-turn was also a big thing for me. So right now I have Baton Pass, Volt Switch, and U-turn. So that is really helpful when it comes to getting initiative with my team and getting the right matchups for me. So as long as I can play well, I should be able to do very, very well with this team. But I am very excited to use Serena, and so that's that. And the next Pokemon that I decided to draft is, I wanted to make sure I got myself a Dark type, because I always tend to miss out on Dark types. They tend to... I tend to just miss out on them when I'm planning on draft and whatnot, but I decided to get one, and I got a really good one because I got Crocodile. And Crocodile is a fantastic Pokemon. I struggle against it almost every single time I play it because it's so powerful. The 117 attack is really good. It also has access to Moxie, so that's really something. Intimidate's also going to be really nice too. So right now I already have like Drop Kick that can lower attack as well as Reflect, Intimidate, and Intimidate with Mawile. So I'm really doing a good job of getting both offense and ways to kind of slow down my opponent's offense. So it's really nice in that sense. Also, the base 92 speed helps kind of gap these speed tiers a little bit together, because before this it went from 111 to, what is it, 72? Yeah. So now we got something in the 90s, which is really nice, and I wanted to make sure that I was consciously looking at my speed tiers during this draft. But yeah, Crocodile is a great mon. Gives me another Stealth Rocker, a better one to use than Mega Mawile, most likely. But yeah, having things like Crunch, having, you know, these all good moves, has a very good move pool, and has this, you know, could catch you off guard with special attack depending on the matchup. It is definitely not the first time. Pursuit is also going to be really nice. So yeah, there's stuff like that. There's really not too much. Another Taunt user. Again, trying to help overcome the weakness to hazards that I tend to have on my team. So I'm really excited about Crocodile. It's something that I've wanted to use for a very long time, and I finally get to use it. And it works well with my team. I needed a ground type for electric immunity. Right now, I'm pretty good with electric types. Mawile, I'm pretty sure, is decent against them. I always forget. Maybe it doesn't actually resist. I don't think it does. But Serena is a resist. Crocodile is an immunity. Pretty sure I ended up getting one more resist or immunity somewhere. Yeah, I got like 2 more resists. So, and the next one, yeah, the bomb we got next is actually also going to help with this. And yeah, so that's Crocodile. With the next 2 picks, it was just another block. I picked this a little early, but I wanted to make sure I got it because people were starting to reach into lower tiers at this point. Serena was a C tier, Crocodile was a B tier. So people were starting to take D tiers already, and I didn't like that. I didn't want anybody to take the one that I wanted, so I made sure that I snagged it early, and I got myself Drampaw, and I'm so excited about Drampaw. This is more important to this team than I think people realize, because generally what I have, I don't know how to say it without giving away too much, because I feel like people don't know enough about Drampaw to really know what I plan to do with it, and I don't really want to give away all my plans. But I will just say that it is bulky, it has great special attack, and it has its own good self-recovery with Roost. Also, Glare is also going to be really helpful for paralyzing the opponent, especially since T-Wave is not 100% accurate anymore. Glare is another option. And just really, really good move coverage. Another way of phasing with Dragon Tail. It has setup options with Calm Mind, and just pretty much any type of move coverage that you could possibly want. So, I really think Drampo is going to need to do really, really well. It has some key resistances to things that the rest of my team didn't necessarily want to deal with, especially like fire types. Drampo is good at being able to resist that, as well as the electric types like I was talking about. And then of course, its other resistances. Of course, it's weak to Fairy, which at this point I'm not like super weak to. Fairy could be a slight issue for me, but I think I have ways around it. And yeah. And then other dragons, which I mean, I have Mawile, and I have other ways to deal with dragons also. So that is the first 6. So let's go ahead and start a new 6. Because my next pick was, let me make sure I'm doing this in order, was actually Uxie, and I'm really excited about Uxie. So I'm pretty sure at this point Uxie and Mesprit were both available, so I think Uxie got taken first. Nope, Mesprit got taken first, but they decided wrong. No, I actually like both. I like Uxie and I like Mesprit. The thing with Uxie for me is that it's bulkier, and I was looking for more bulk. If there is some Mon that I just don't feel like I have a switch into on the rest of my team, like Uxie's going to be that Mon. It can switch into literally anything. And the fact that I have wish support from Vaporeon could make this thing really, really annoying. Not to mention, it has, not on top of its defenses, it has a good 95 speed tier, which don't think that I won't use that to my advantage. So having a fast defensive Mon is really, really helpful. Setup options, really good move coverage. It is a psychic type. It's going to have that. Another Heal Bell user, so I actually am making sure that I am getting as much like support clerics and whatnot as I can. And the most important one is a Stealth Rocker that I don't mind making my Stealth Rocker every single time if I need to. Because Crocodile, if I wanted to be offensive, maybe I don't want to use Stealth Rock. Mega Mawile, kind of the same thing. Uxie can be a reliable Stealth Rocker every single week if I need it to be. There's also some other stuff we can do. This is another dual screen user. It has Memento, things like Magic Coat, another knockoff user, as well as U-Turn. Because I think Drampal so far is the only thing. Well, after the Crocodile and Drampal picks, I'm starting to lose some of that initiative to get into my slower offensive mons. And so Uxie gives me another U-Turner. Also gives me Thunder Wave on another Mon, so there are ways of slowing down my opponent's team, as well as getting good initiative into my other Mons. Trick, other things like that. I forget who used it against me, but there was I think last season, was it Eric? It was somebody that used like a Yawn, like a Thunder Wave Yawn, or Toxic Yawn, or Yawn U-Turn, or whatever, to really get initiative, and that's something that's really nice. Also gives me a Trick Room option. Don't know if I will necessarily need that. I do have some pretty slow offense, if I'm able to take advantage of that, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not. So yeah, Uxie has a lot of fun stuff that I can do, and it just really fills a lot of neutrals that I might need in some weeks. So that was my 7th pick, and that was also a C tier. Drampo is D tier, yep. And so now we move into even lower tiers as we round off the first part of my team. And the next one I got is actually the only Mon that I picked that I'm using for the second time. The entire rest of my team are Pokemon that I'm using for the very first time. But we do got one returner, and that's even only kind of a returner, because that Pokemon is Cryogonal. And I only brought that once last season, but it did a really good job in the game that I brought it, that I had to try it again. The thing with Cryogonal is it has good special defense, and is good for switching into ice attacks. So, if there is any sort of ice weakness on my team, Cryogonal really does help with that. As well as Levitate, it's another one that fills a lot of niche roles. It's probably only going to get brought to maybe 1, 2, 3 games max, but I really feel that it's going to excel in whatever role that I put it. This also gives me a Mon in an upper speed tier with base 105. This gives me Recover. This gives me a backup Rapid Spinner, which is really nice. More Haze, things like that. I mean, Priority Ice Shard, that's really nothing with its low attack, but it is another knockoff user. Things like Magic Coat, there are some things that that Gragonol can do. It also dual screens. So I have a lot of different options for my team. There are some Pokemon that are overlapping roles. So if I do feel that one of them is really not coming, there will be a chance to do some transfers in the middle of the season. But I really think that not forcing a certain Pokemon to go into a certain role is really helpful. And being able to distribute similar roles across different Pokemon to free up other Pokemon to do different things is really going to help my team. And it's going to make it a lot easier to team build if I have multiple options and I'm not putting the same Pokemon in the same role every single week. Kind of like what happened last season, where you could pretty much guess what my team was going to be because I was pretty much forced to bring the same type of team every single week, and it didn't even end up working out. So, trying to make sure that I do not do that this season. And then, to round off the first set of 9, basically we drafted 9 for our main team, 2 for our bench, and then our viewer pick is going to start on our team, I believe. So, the last Pokemon that I picked for the team and not the bench is actually my other Z-Move user, and it's a lower tier Z-Move user, and I figure that fighting types have really good coverage, and I have been thinking about using this mod for a very long time, and I finally got a chance to use it. People overlook it all the time, but I picked up myself Toxicroak, and Toxicroak, I really think it's going to be really, really good. 85 speed also fills in a little bit of a gap between Serena and Crocodile, so there's something in the 80s, so now I have something in the speed tiers from 50, 65, 72, 85, 92, 95, 105, I have the speed tiers looking really, really nice. So, and the 106 attack is really nice. This also is well, I don't think water is going to be a problem for me this season. I actually have 2 immunities, one that I have not gotten to yet. Poison Touch is also a thing, so it is yeah, Toxicroak's going to be really nice. Like I said, it's a fighting type, so it is going to have some pretty decent coverage with things like Ice Punch. It does have like the Gunk Shot, which is going to be good for fairies offensively. I did want some other ways to deal with fairies. I actually haven't looked through too much, so things like Bullet Punch is actually a little bit surprised I actually didn't know it got Bullet Punch, so that's really nice, and Fake Out. So Toxicroak could be really, really nice. Should, things like that be able to pan out. It also has a pretty decent special attack, so definitely don't hide on the special attack. Things like Dark Pulse. Probably not going to try Focus Blast unless I'm just fully special, but it does have Nasty Plot, so and I think it gets Sword Stance. Yeah, Nasty Plot and Sword Stance. So this is pretty much just a really, really poor man's Infernape, I guess. Probably not, but another Taunt user, very nice. Sucker Punch, priority all over the place, really good move coverage, and a pretty decent speed tier. Good Assault Vest option, good Scarf option, things like that. Another knockoff user, very nice. But Drain Punch is the big one. I like my fighting types to have Drain Punch. That's just how I prefer to do things. So I really think Toxicroak is going to be a really, really good member of this team. I wish I could use Acupressure. I'm pretty sure that's banned. If only. But yeah, so there's some really awesome stuff that Toxicroak can do. I love my fighting types, and this is a way to soak up Toxic Spikes also. So that's really nice. And yeah. So the next 2 Pokemon are actually going to be on my bench, but this is just the order that they were picked, so that is why I am doing them in this order. But based on the tiers that are left for my bench, I actually still have the freedom to pick an A tier and the freedom to pick a C tier, or I could trade in, that A for a B, C for, whatever. But I got 1 A tier and 1 C tier, so my bench is really what makes my team just completely rounded and really have no bad Pokemon on it. There is no bad Pokemon on my team. They're all so good. So to start off my bench, I got the big bad Volcanion, and I was super excited. Basically what I tend to do with drafts is I leave some of the higher tier stuff that nobody picks towards the end. because with 12 coaches picking Pokemon and there being a max to how many you can have in a certain tier, there's going to be good stuff undrafted. There's plenty of S tiers undrafted just for that simple reason alone, and Volcanion got overlooked because, you know, with it being a higher tier, people, you know, decided to go lower tier fire types or decided that they didn't need Volcanion. But I love Volcanion. It is a fantastic Pokemon, and it is a pain to deal with. So, this is my other water immunity, so really not worried about water types. So, you know, and I don't even think... Oh, and Vaporeon, sorry. 3 water immunities. I didn't really try that, but it just kind of happened, so I shouldn't have to worry about things like Azumarill or Keldeo or whatnot. Which Keldeo didn't... Actually, I don't think either of them got drafted. So, either way, I shouldn't have to worry about water types too much when switching into them since. But Volcanion is really nice. It's base 70 speed, so it's whatever. But these are the big stats. I mean, 130 special attack, 110 attack, 120 defense, 90 special defense. It's very, very good. Fire Water type is also a really nice typing, in my opinion. And it also has things like Flame Charge. So there are, like, really fun things to do with Volcanion. Pretty good move coverage. Haze, that's actually pretty interesting. Haze and Roar. I could make some sort of defensive Volcanion. Should I need to? I don't think I'll need to, but a bulky Volcanion, definitely not out of the question. Will-O-Wisp, of course. So there's definitely some really good things that that Volcanion can do, and I'm really excited to have it. It's just really powerful, and it's basically a more offensive version of kind of like Drampa will probably be put more into a defensive role. They both have about the same special attack. Volcanion is going to be more the offensive one, and I really think the Volcanion is going to put in work this season, especially when it's not even the biggest threat on my team, because I have a Mega Mawile. So, yeah, I'm really excited to use Volcanion. And then to finish out my draft, the very last pick of the drafting part before the viewer picks, I saved the best for last, and I got myself Tyrantrum. And Tyrantrum is such a good Pokemon, and the fact that it's kind of just added on to my team. Tyrantrum doesn't necessarily add anything that I didn't have before. It does give me a physical dragon, also threatens with Dragon Dance. It does give me another Stealth Rocker, should I need it to do that. And, like Rock Polish, it has some really good setup stuff. So I'm really, really excited about that. Really good move coverage, very powerful. That 121 attack, pretty decent defense. Speed is about the same, so again, it's not adding too much. I think having a rock type could be good, should I need rock type moves for my opponent. They tend to, I don't know, rock types tend to be pretty niche in what you can do with them and switch into them, or switch in with them. And I always feel like it would be nice to have one, but I can never find one that I like. And having 12 Pokemon on your team, I mean, there's some things that are overlap. And the fact that Tyrantrum is kind of like an afterthought on my team, I think is really a testament to my whole team in general. And I'm super excited to use it. I'm super excited. Tyrantrum is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I'm super hyped to use it. And I got 2 dragons on my team, and of course dragons have their really nice resistances, so I'm super excited. And then to end it all off, the viewer pick took place on Twitter, through the TBU Twitter, and we had to submit 4 Pokemon that we wanted for people to choose between, and this Pokemon that people choose will be an unlimited like Z move user. You can use support Z moves, offensive Z moves, whatever. The catch being that they're like really low tier mons, and there's not a whole lot of great ones in there, but are some good diamonds in the rough. And this Pokemon didn't win by as much as I wanted it to, but thankfully it did win. It's a Pokemon that I wanted the whole time, but I had to throw in some other things that could do similar things. But to round out my team, and I do have to bring my viewer pick at least once, so it will show up, is Cottony. And I'm so hyped that I got this as a viewer pick. It can use any Z move, which is good. But what else is also good is the Prankster. And basically, Whimsicott was on my draft plan for a little while. But then when I put Serena on, I kind of rearranged what I wanted. Cottonee can do some really annoying things. It might not be super bulky, nothing that a Focus Sash can't fix. Encore, Cotton Guard, with maybe some Leech Seed things. Z Memento is a big reason for this. Or it could just be, a regular Memento, but probably a Z Memento, because Cottonee can have any sort of Z move users. Tailwind. People are going to underestimate the fact that I can support my Mega Mawile, Tyrantrum, Volcanion, Crocodile team with Tailwind. Switcheroo. There are so many stupid things I can do with Cottonee that can support my team. If I have an extra slot in my team building that I feel like I can bring it and have it support the other 5 Pokemon, Cottonee will be able to come. There's so many things that it can do that I think people are not going to undervalue. Also, where's the good move? Endeavor. There it is. So that's always fun. Focus Sash Endeavor on a Prankstermon is very, very nice. So that could also be a thing. So yeah, I'm really excited to have Cottonee. The fact that it almost didn't get picked as my viewer pick mon really saddens me. I think it was actually tied with Jumpluff, but I've already used Jumpluff in draft format. It would have given me something, another fast mon that also would have been able to do Z Memento, but I got Cottonee, and I'm really happy about that because it can do more than just Z Memento. So, yeah, that is my team. Just reading it off because I don't feel like clicking back between the other ones. My whole team is Mega Mawile, Vaporeon, Thunderous Eye, Serena, Crocodile, Drampa, Uxie, Cryogonal, Toxicroak, Volcanion, Tyrantrum, and Cottonee. And this is probably one of the best teams I've ever drafted. I am super excited to use this, and I really think we have a real chance at playoffs and maybe even the title, so we shall see. The first upload for this is going to be on July 11th. Yeah. Whatever that Tuesday is, I'm pretty sure it's July 11th. And so that would mean that the first team analysis video would be the day before, July 10th. So I hope you guys are excited for the Season 5 of the TBU, as I am, because I am so excited to have a great team, one that is in my control. It was a planned, drafted team, and one that I am really confident in going into the season. Usually anytime that happens, I can at least finish with a winning record, so that is the first goal, because I really do need to redeem myself this gen in Draft League format, because I have not started off Gen 7 super great. So I do need to redeem myself, and I really think I can. So let me know what you think about my team, and I'll see you guys for the first battle, which I believe is going to be against Trev. So that is going to be very scary because his team is also really, really good. But it's going to be a great battle. It's going to be a great season. Hope you guys are excited, and I will see you when we start the season. So go ahead, leave your feedback. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, guys, stay